Well, today I'm working on the rocker replacement on this 67 Chevelle, and you can see here that I'm going to have quite a bit of fun work doing this repair. This car, pretty rusty. Almost every panel on the car is going to be replaced. So anyway, as you can probably tell, I'm sitting here in the middle where the floor pan was. I've got the floor pan all cut out. Just used my Hypertherm PowerMax 30 plasma cutter and made pretty quick work of getting the floor cut out and the braces. I'll probably show in another video, but I do have both door jambs braced with 1 inch by 1 inch square tubular steel, and you can see here I've done the same thing on both sides. So I've got the door jambs braced fairly nicely, and then I also have the quarter walls, the interior walls, braced crosswise. So you can see here that I've just gone from one quarter reinforcement to the next quarter reinforcement. And then above me, I've actually, the light's gonna probably cause a problem here, but I've actually have it cross braced as well, from front to rear on both sides. Probably a little bit of overkill on this much bracing, but I had the metal, so I went ahead and did the bracing. It's pretty quick to do, it's not real hard. So what that will do now is that will prevent forward to backward movement now that the floor's out. Mainly when I start getting these rockers out, these rockers are still providing some support as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll do one side at a time, get the rockers replaced, and then drop the car down on the floor, which you can probably see through there. I've got the trunk and the floor pan sitting in there. Still needs to be installed. So what I'm working on right now though is this kick panel piece. And you can see here that it is extremely rotted. So I do have new AMD panels here. You can see these panels come from AMD 376-344-4R. This is the first piece that's on here. So I guess technically as you're assembling it, it would be the second piece that you would put in here. But this piece is a real nice match to the original piece. And I don't know how easy it'll be to see here, but you can see it's got all the same contours. It's got the cleat at the bottom here that I've got it cut right now, but it welds to the cowl hinge panel portion, but it's stamped identical to the original. Where I'm running into a bit of a challenge is that this actual kick panel interior part here needs to be replaced as well. It's completely rotted out back behind here where the reinforcement piece that I just showed you attaches to. And they're basically just sandwiched together. So I have a little bit of a problem. You can see here that it's rotted out up in this area, and then it's rotted out down below as well, back behind. They do sell this entire piece, and I would have loved to have purchased it. It's the actual interior kick panel part. It's actually the front of the cowl as well, and then there's a cover that goes over the side shoulder. My problem here is that, as you can see, if you look through here, this is an air-conditioned car. So the condenser unit would have actually fit into that cowl section. What's interesting is that AMD advertises this particular piece as with AC, but all it has in that front part of the cowl panel is the circle for the blower motor. And then of course this piece here, this hole here isn't the same on the AMD replacement panel either. I don't know that would necessarily be as big of a deal, but you definitely aren't going to get your air conditioning equipment into that small hole when you can see how large it is just looking through here. That's not a hole that somebody put in there. That's for the factory AC. But that piece would have been beautiful because it runs the entire length down here. It's basically the entire kick panel up behind the dash reinforcement brackets, and then all the way up into the top. And again, I would have really liked to have purchased that piece, but it just didn't have the right stamping and the right holes. Now, there is a high probability that I may go ahead and purchase it, and then I will just cut the lower section out, kind of in this section here. And then I will use the bottom part of that panel and not worry about the top piece. What I'm gonna try, and I'll update as we go along, is I did actually purchase 2 of these reinforcement panels for the right-hand side. Because they sandwich together, I'm wondering if I might be able to put one in behind the reinforcement piece as a patch for the kick panel, and then come in with the other one, which is an identical piece, and sandwich them together so that this piece would actually be welded into the kick panel area, and then this piece would come in and be sandwiched over that piece as the reinforcement. I won't know exactly how that will work until I get this reinforcement piece out, and then I'll take a look at it and see how it ends up working. I might be able to fabricate and do a little bit of work. What it's not going to do is it's not going to take care of this rust area up in here, which I may then have to fabricate and patch separately. So anyway, we'll keep moving along here. We'll do a number of installments on the inner and outer rocker panel replacement, and we're gonna try to keep everybody updated. Original thought on this 67 Chevelle was to use the reinforcement plate that is spot welded to this interior kick panel area. The problem with that is if I do take this reinforcement patch or piece and use it as a patch, I really don't get the coverage that I'm hoping for in terms of repairing this panel correctly. So I've basically abandoned that idea. I actually had 2 of these, one that I was going to use as a patch, the other that I was then going to sandwich over like the factory did. But again, I just don't have enough metal here to take care of the rot that is happening up in these areas. So I went ahead and purchased the entire assembly from AMD. Interestingly enough, they claim that this is for an AC car, but I can clearly tell that it's not. This particular kick panel vent hole is different than what we have in the factory AC car. And then there is also just a hole here for a blower motor, whereas the cowl assembly in the very front along the firewall side has a much larger hole to accommodate the air conditioning equipment. So needless to say, I am going to have to remove this entire assembly, and then I'm going to set it side by side with the new piece from AMD, and we'll have to do some fabrication here, cutting out the pieces that I need and incorporating those into this new piece. And I'll cover that in another video. The other thing that I will do is I'm planning to provide just a little bit of a review on this AMD piece compared to the factory piece, again, for an AC car. If this was a non-AC car, this piece would be perfect. It would essentially be plug and play. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of time here and get quite a bit of this metal out of here. It's gonna take a little bit of work to get up in here and basically remove all the factory spot welds and get that entire piece out. Once I get it out, then I will compare it to the new piece, and we'll have to do some fabrication to make the new piece fit in here with the correct holes and fitment for an AC car.